On this episode, I'll be taking a look at the ingenious, so to say, unimaginable ways through which Nigerians are striving to survive the harsh socio-economic realities of living in this populous African country at this time. Nigerians are now perhaps the greatest of the greatest trekkers in the world today. People trek a lot in this country, in case you don't know. It is called the rule of 50. People are now feeding on animal feeds in some parts of this country. A report published in the Vanguard newspaper of September 14, year 2024, reveals that another strategy with which Nigerians are surviving, as uninviting, as newsworthy, as unpraiseworthy as it sounds, street begging. Whoa. Hello there. My name is Olufemi Oronshola. I want to warmly welcome you all to another episode of the reality check show, Open Talk with Femi. There is no time to check time. The times in which people live in Nigeria at the moment, no doubt, tough times are really here. On this episode, I'll be taking a look at the ingenious, so to say, unimaginable ways through which Nigerians are striving to survive the harsh socio-economic realities of living in this populous African country at this time. No thanks to the inflationary trends in the prices of food items and commodities. No thanks to the fuel price hike. 7, 16, 2, 7, 8, 90. Oh my God. Man, no thanks to the dwindling fortunes of the naira on the table of foreign exchange for an economy that is predominantly dependent on crude oil and importation of so many goods for its survival. On this episode, let's get into business. What are the strategic ways through which Nigerians are striving to survive? Number one on the list, according to our findings at OTN News, is that Nigerians are now perhaps the greatest of the greatest trekkers in the world today. People trek a lot in this country, in case you don't know. It is called the rule of 50-50 for most trips that people take. I'm talking about the average Nigerian masses, the common man on the streets of Lagos, Abuja, Kafansha, Katsina, Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto, and other parts of this country. Even in the southern parts of the country, people can trek. I'm wondering why we have not had anyone coming up with trekking in recent times, because people now do the formula 50-50. You have a destination to fly, people trek a fraction of the road, a significant fraction of the distance, and then to cut transportation costs, take transport to the other side to arrive at their destination, all because of the harsh socio-economic realities. Second on the list, number 2, is this common practice of selling off personal properties such as cars, home appliances, furniture, and other things that people hitherto would not sell, that they have had to keep as some sort of assets in and around their life. That has become a trend with which people survive. People are selling off, liquidating many of their depreciating assets that they have around them. Number 3, this is one thing I got pretty sad about upon its realization. People are now feeding on animal feeds in some parts of this country. A report published in the Vanguard newspaper of September 14, year 2024, reveals that in Plateau State and some northern states in this country, at the moment, an unimaginable method of curing the palpable hunger that is monstrously devouring the fabric of this society is that people have taken the recourse to eating animal foods. And I'm talking about an item as unimaginable as maize shafts. It was reported in the quoted Vanguard report of September 14 that a particular pregnant woman, a mother of 4, admitted to grinding maize shafts, mixing it with water to feed her children and to survive the hunger that stares out her in the face. Once upon a time when I was growing up, I was a piggery farmer. We would grind up kuli kuli, a particular local food made with groundnuts. Now, people who are eating kuli kuli are even very rich in Nigeria because Gary has gone off the roof. But to think about it, that people are now feeding on animal foods. Ingenuity brought to bear on the game of survivor. As it is said, survivor existentialism is not a simple game of table tennis played by 2 gentlemen. People can go to any extent just to cure the incurable feeling of hunger that can only be cured by FOOD, food. Still on the reflection and an highlight of what Nigerians are doing to survive the times, it has come to our knowledge that a lot of people now abandon their vehicles and they take alternative means of transportation. It is a growing trend in Nigeria of today that people abandon their privately owned cars and recourse to the use of tricycles, motorcycles, and public transport. More ingenuity has been brought to play when, in recent times, Open Television Niger caught up with a young man who, you may recall, rides around town, applies the routes of town with his electric bicycle that he charges with solar and alternative source of power supply. I am sure that a lot of Nigerian car owners are seriously inclined to consider going on bicycle. And the song on the streets, on the tongue of people on the streets, would probably be that song we used to sing when we were much younger. Elijah. Funny, but really not funny. Another strategy, if you call that strategy number 5, with which Nigerians survive, is skipping of meals. Back in the days, we heard about Structural Adjustment Program, SAP. And what we have found out in recent times is that a new version of SAP has come to town with Nigerians, as people hardly can afford what has been correctly or incorrectly referred to as 3 square meals. Because the last time I checked, square is not is not 3. Whatever is square is supposed to have 4, like one of the motivational speakers, credits to Dr. Olumide Emmanuel, said. But then, talking about 3 square meals, in Nigeria, a common man in the average home, are you whining me? They whine me. People now go by these popular formulas: O-O-1 or 1-O-O 0 or O-1-O. That is to tell you that people can hardly feed 3 times a day, taking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Nigerians are indeed great survivors, people with high degree of perseverance. So the ration of 3 square meals, eating 3 times a day, has come into question in recent times in the average Nigerian home. Another ingenuity that Nigerians have brought to bear in the midst of the current harsh socio-economic realities of the land and the times is home farming. Well, good credit to former President Olusegun Obasanjo way back in the 70s, late 70s, when he came up with the Operation Feed the Nation. This time around, it's not Operation Feed the Nation. It is Làwọn èèyàn tún gbédè, the Nigerians tún gbédè. Due credit to Professor Ebenezer Obey Fabi, who sang that song. Nigerians, out of creative ingenuity, the survival spirit, are now doing a lot of activities that are bordering on home farming. People are planting tubers, cassava, yam, pepper, vegetables within and around their homes. It will shock you to realize that a lot of people who do not even have access to reasonable farming land are taking advantage of new methods of farming, using sacks and bags to plant and to raise animals for consumption. Poultry, rabbitry, and some of these animals that can be readily raised within reach, and people are using these as a backup plan. So many government workers that were interviewed by Open Television Nigeria confirmed that one of their lifelines for survival of this hard time has been home farming. Like they say, the farmers are king, Agbe Loba. Another strategy with which Nigerians are surviving, as uninviting, as newsworthy, as unpraiseworthy as it sounds, street begging. Major cities in Nigeria are now dotted by sometimes well-dressed folks who will shamelessly approach passers-by, looking around ATM centers, looking around POS cash transaction centers. They do it in the morning, in the afternoon, sometimes even into the late nights. And you see able-bodied men and women, including children, begging for food, begging for money to eat. Ogbo Ọ̀dà ìjọ ẹ fún mi ló fẹ́ fi jẹ. Ẹjọ́ ẹrù lè oúnjẹ fún mi. People have taken to street begging. I am not saying street begging has never been an integral part of human society. Even in the advanced countries, in the developed world, there are beggars everywhere. But we are talking about the frequency of occurrence. Nowadays, Nigerian society has seen a lot of people who, hitherto, will not dare to bury their pride, their humanity, and go on the streets to beg. Single mothers, a lot of people, even workers, begging for money to eat or outrightly begging for food to eat. What an ingenious, dehumanizing way to survive. The reality is there, stands to be contradicted with superior facts and figures. Whoa! As much as a lot of people abandon their private vehicles in their homes and take to public transport using alternatives like Okada, tricycle, and then bicycles, many people are still flying their private cars up and down. But they have devised an ingenious manner and route or way of cutting costs and balancing the equation. No thanks to the hike in the price of fuel. People now survive in Nigeria by using their private cars with which they are going to work as public transport. Pick up passengers to and fro your route to work such that you are guaranteed of recovering or recouping a significant part, if not in totality, the money you have spent on buying fuel to go to your office. This is about another interesting one. A lot of people in Nigeria today now resolve to relocating from their residence to another place that is very nearby to their workplaces. This is the harsh reality of people who probably had in the past congratulated themselves for completing their apartment in a new site that is perhaps a remote area relatively far away from their places of work or business residences. No thanks to the reality of the times, people are now going back, having become a landlord that had been congratulated to become an occasional tenant in an apartment that is nearby their workplaces because of the killing cost of transportation and the effect it will have on their monthly income and ultimate take home. This is another sad reality of life and living in Nigeria. Students do this, and parents, especially now that students are resuming back to school. School resumption this season has seen a lot of parents relocating their wards and children from their original schools to another school that is nearby their home so that they will beat the cost of transportation. Emergency japa. This one now. The other type of japa is international japa. This one. Israel, what do we call this one? This one are domestic japaing. You japa from your youth house to a nearby apartment, or you scout with somebody, and then people move back to their families during the weekend, especially the breadwinner who is hunting money for the family. They have a separate apartment. I don't want to mention them, but I know people in and around me that are actually deploying this survivor strategy just to survive the harsh realities of the time. More than ever before, fellow Nigerians at home and abroad, the reality of the times are such that a lot of people, young folks, are gradually sliding into the business of not finding any other thing to sell but their own very bodies. And I'm talking about that easy virtue trade, age long, immemorial. No one is saying that people are prostituting because there is difficulty, but it is a fact of life as we do our reality check of the times that more than ever before, a wide array of strata of people in this society, in Nigeria today, are now taken to prostitution and the easy virtue business, selling their bodies in exchange for money. This is what is responsible for what we see when you move around major cities in Nigeria, from Lagos to Abeokuta to Ibadan to Port Harcourt to many parts of the country, where even prostitutes take time to approach journalists to complain about the dwindling fortune of their easy virtue trade. And the demography of prostitution that is staring at us in the face at such a time as this, such that teenagers, underage, single mothers, even in some cases, married women are taken to prostitution just to make ends meet. And the fascinating fact that we discovered in our research is that the so-called prostitutes are now even differentiating themselves from the people who are in the hookup work culture. I had a personal experience taking a walk on the streets of my state of residence. I don't mention anything. And I overheard a conversation between two ladies of easy virtue on the streets, saying, "Can you imagine what that dirty lady is telling me? He doesn't know that hookup is better than prostitution." I couldn't believe my ears. Are you kidding me? That is the reality, sad as it were, of living in Nigeria at the moment. There is a growing increase in the hook-up culture among Nigerian youths and women. With due respect to that gender, it is on record that so many other men and people of the opposite gender are also engaging in an equally bestial, condemnable, utterly criminal device and means of survival. Which brings me to the next point: ritual killings. Pages of newspapers in Nigeria are now rife with reports of young people killing fellow young people, older citizens taken to attempt to do money rituals by luring and killing people of the opposite sex, people of the same sex, even children, just to make money rituals. And this is utterly condemnable. There are no justifications for any human being to attempt to even think about it, that the only way you can make money and survive hardship is by taking the life of another fellow human being. And like Nelson Mandela said, the true soul of a society is better determined by how it treats the children and its senior citizens. This is a serious cause for concern and worry that leaders and the entire stakeholders in the Nigerian project should give attention when people begin to take on ritual killing as a means of survival. We have a long way to go. In this age, and time, bestial, condemnable, criminal, unacceptable by every standard. But the reality, increasing trend of rituals. Some states are more guilty, some regions are more guilty. It is part of the reality of the times living in Nigeria. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Which other ingenious, condemnable, unimaginable ways are Nigerians deploying to survive the reality of the times? A lot of people have taken to fraudulent online activities, cyberbullying, cyber criminal activities as their means of survival. Street trading, however, is another ingenuity that Nigerians have brought. More than ever before, I call this the emergence of emergency street traders. Most major cities of Nigeria are now dotted by people who are existential traders. They have no shops, they have no stores, they go by night or late evening. All the road medians, most of the road medians, roadside, and even points, black spots or dark spots where you have traffic, you see a lot of people selling different items. Underage, middle age, women and men alike, striving to survive, creating other existential crises that are associated with this means of survival. Reports arrive of state governments from time to time taking actions to clear off the goods and stock of some of these emergency traders who take to hawking on the streets without paying attention to the consequences of this on human and vehicular traffic. This is Open Talk with Femi. Nigeria with special focus on how people are striving to survive. Guess what? We are just doing a reality check. Let me know, which other means of survival do you think Nigerians, out of creative ingenuity, are deploying to survive this time? Hard, harsh times. But guess what? The one thing I'm so sure about, tough times will never last. Tough people will do, just like it is said by the motivational speakers. The times are hard. Nigerians and the Nigerian government will need to take responsibility and do the needful to make life easier for ourselves. One thing from Open Television Nigeria: criminality is not the way to go. Be your brother's keeper. I remain Ambassador Olufemi Oroshola. Please join the comment section, join this conversation. Let me know for real, what other means you think Nigerians are deploying to survive. If you check it out, maybe we have profiled close to 20 means through which Nigerians are striving to survive the tough reality of the times. Till I come your way on another interesting edition of Open Talk with Femi on Open Television Nigeria. If this is your first time tuning onto this channel, please click that subscribe button, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, just so you will be the first to know among the people who will know every time we upload another scintillating, educative and entertaining content. Bye for now. Wow.
Hello Lagos, hello Nigeria. Have you heard about Open TV? Open TV is also known as OTV, and it is the latest online TV where you get educated, informed, and entertained. Why don't you subscribe for more interesting and amazing historical background that you don't even know? You'll be shocked at the amazing news and information you get about your origin. Let's go, yeah.
Thanks for watching OTV.